Welcome back, YouTubers. This is a review of the SP-105 Figma of Pixie from the Shin Megami Tensei series. A series which I've really enjoyed over the years. I've read the novel, the original one, Digital Devil Saga, as well as the other games and several other media, though not all of it has been translated into English, and it's quite good. An odd thing is this is the older style box, even though it only recently came out, so I'm not sure why. It might be because it says SP-105. This must have been something they were releasing during some sort of event. Might be the reason for this sticker here with the Atlas logo on it. Atlas being the game company in the United States and Japan that puts it out. Either way, let's get started. Now, Shin Megami Tensei is a long-running series. The premise of it is actually very similar to Pokemon in the gameplay, where you basically fight demons, though demon is a loose word. It's actually any sort of mythological character. And basically, once you defeat them, or if you attempt to talk to them during battle, you can basically convince them, bribe them, or other such negotiation tactics into becoming your servants, and they become basically your followers. So it's not like you have to weaken them down to a level, then throw an item at them. You can also then take demons and fuse them together to form more powerful demons. For example, Pixie here is a very low-level one, but there are better and stronger types of fairies similar to Pixie, like the High Pixie or other such. And those are frequently what she is turned into when you fuse her, though you could also get something completely unrelated, like the dog-like Kusith, or a angel, or one of the various other ones. Pixie is usually one of the early starting characters that you can easily get. In fact, frequently she's one of the ones you get as a default, because she's usually a healer-type character. Now, Pixie here is also, and this is the interesting part, she's about to scale of what she would be in the game. Pixie is usually depicted in some of the animes and other things I've seen as being extremely small. So this is an accurate representation of her. She's basically 1-to-1. Now, as you can see, she doesn't have a lot. She's got her wings, of course. Nice translucent blue. One extra face with the side of her face there, which is a little different for Figma's, but considering she's got those elf ears, or Vulcan ears, that's not surprising. As for parts going, she's got some hands for manipulation and such. Total of 6. As you can see. And the, of course, obligatory extra wrist joint that they've been putting in everything. And the stand, though, interestingly, this stand has its extra extension piece already attached to it. Most of the time when you open these things, you're going to find that's not attached to it. So I'm kind of curious by this. And, of course, the obligatory Figma bag. One interesting thing about Digital Devil series was that the summoning of the demons was basically a computer program that basically did all the ritual work, and you just plugged in what you wanted. In the games, you usually have to use an underworld currency called Maka in order to summon the demons, but as long as you paid the cost, they did whatever you told them. And frequently, the Shin Megami Tensei stories are stories basically not about good and evil, as some people would expect, but about the difference between order and chaos. Basically, what it boils down to is frequently the side of basically gods and other things like that are frequently shown to be not good, but an emphasis on order and orderliness. But it's usually to an extreme that leaves very little choice for anyone. Also, there's a pivot joint here, so you can fold these back. It was confusing me there for a second. Anyway. But basically, order represents stagnation and doing what you're told, but it also leads to not having any free will or being able to do anything for yourself. This is frequently represented by whatever force you're facing, being either gods or holy people of some kind, or basically just whichever creature wishes to impose order on the world. The demons usually represent chaos, but that's normally in the form of free will. But, and this is in many of the more recent games, free will is usually shown as being good, but only to a point. If you are too free to do anything you want, then you get chaos and anarchy. Frequently what you'll see is one of two outcomes in the games, which normally have multiple endings. If you choose an order route, you usually basically create a society where there is no free will, everyone does what they're told, but it's also basically a totalitarian police state. If you choose chaos, everyone has freedom, but it's usually chaotic and destructive, with people destroying everything or doing whatever they wish, which is usually not good. Generally what you want is the balance option, which you usually have to play through one or both. It's tricky to get them on the first try, though some games, like Shin Megami Tensei 4, you can, though it is somewhat tricky to get it right the first time. I managed to on my playthrough, but that's just because I was looking at a guide to see what choices and what factors would give me the best option. And I was looking at what each decision that made a point in each one's favor would do. And I kept track of my total. But this is Pixie, as you can see. And I really like this figure. It's a small little sprite character. It's got good posability. There's an extra joint here in the legs, so you can twist it to the side. There's a joint here, so it goes well with the hip joint. And yeah, this one's got a lot of posability and flexibility. There's an extra pivot joint here in the arm. The head's pretty good. Yeah, I'd say this one's definitely a must-have for anyone who's a fan of the Shin Megami Tensei series. Plus, if you're doing like a cosplay of a Shin Megami Tensei character, this would be a good thing to have because you can use this instead of having to, buy one of the more expensive figurines of these kinds of characters. Plus, it's to scale, so this is an accurate representation. The one thing I will point out is these wing pieces here, especially these little curling parts, are extremely fragile looking. They've got some elasticity to them, but I would be extremely careful with it, because if you are not careful, those are going to shatter like glass. I would also keep it out of direct sunlight, as that will cause that plastic to become more brittle sooner over time. The only thing that takes it out a bit is these ball joints here, but I don't see any other way you could really do that. However, one thing I'm a little sad is you cannot remove those from it without leaving just the big holes there on the back. Otherwise, you could make her look just like a girl in a unitard. Which is something I've seen in one Shin Megami Tensei manga. It was called Cain. It was a successor to If, a one where a school was pulled into hell by an abused student. Basically, he became a demon lord in order to get revenge on all the people who bullied him in school. But that's a frequent thing in the Shin Megami Tensei games. People who are outcasts do things like this, and it leads either to them becoming the heroes, or they basically become the villain. But Pixie was one of the characters in that, and she became a full-sized humanoid, though she is still a demon in the novel, in the sequel. Anyway. But yeah, this is a good figure, and I think it's pretty good. If you're interested in this one, I'd say go for it now, because with that SP-105, designation on it and the slightly older box. I'm wondering if this was something that they had planned to release at some sort of festival or event, and this is just them selling the ones they have still. So if I were you, I'd snap these up if you're a fan, because I have a bad feeling these are the kind of things that's going to disappear very quickly and be very, very rare later. But anyway, that's my review for now. Please like, subscribe, comment below, share this video with your friends, and I'll see you guys next time. Though, if you'd like to talk to me, I'm on Twitter. My address is below. Ciao!